And I mean, even when we went and scouted, I was like, no, this store just like, it wasn't like they just did that for us. It's like, no, I think that Sam's Club has their stuff together. Like everybody has their role and they know it and they execute it. I mean, really well.
Founded in 1999 by Jason Burks, Retrospec Films is Oklahoma's largest turnkey production company of its kind. With a full-time team of over 20 talented individuals, a 12,000 square foot studio to create in, and a resume that spans some of the world's largest brands, if you love learning about filmmaking and storytelling, you've come to the right place. On each episode, we discuss the pursuit of creating things and the problems we solve by digging up projects from the last 20 years. Giving you a glimpse behind the scenes where the magic happens. You're listening to Retrospec Films from the archives.
Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us on Retrospec from the Archives. This is our in-house podcast where we dig up projects from the past and talk about all the creative, logistical, producing, etc. problems that we solve to create great things for our clients. And today, join with me, I have Jessica Hightower, producer, client manager, and animal lover.
Yep.
And we have Brandon Forbes, production director, producer, lots of things.
I like animals too.
You like animals?
Yeah, probably not as much as Jess.
But he has a dog named Bo, and he's so cute.
Yeah. Got an ACL checkup in about an hour.
You like F1 racing?
I do.
Yeah,
way more than anything.
Yeah, F1 racing enthusiast. There we go. Today we are going to talk about a project that we started on this last summer and worked on for about 3 months. Very amazing project for our friends over in Bentonville. This was for Sam's Club. And this is a pretty sizable project. We're very, very excited to have the opportunity to work on this. We just started doing work with Walmart in the last year, and it's been incredible. This project, I'll probably keep a lot of things discreet just because that's the nature of large companies and their projects. So the best way I could describe this project, and we'll go ahead and run one of the videos that we're able to run, so we can cue that up right now.
Want to know the secret to success at Sam's Club? Introducing Sam's Club Member Access Platform, but we go by MAP. MAP is an additive ads experience powered by over 40 years of Sam's Club membership data on purchases, shopping behaviors, and more. MAP can attribute physical and digital sales to ads, even for search. Oh, and no cookies needed. Meet the Riveras. MAP can help your brand reach the Riveras exactly when they need your items. Here's how it works. Tina starts shopping on the Sam's Club app. An on-site display introduces her to your featured items. As she searches, an eye-catching sponsored video ad leads her to your product page. Let's see a little twirl. At the club, Omni experiences immerse Tina's family in your brand's message. And later, as Tina browses online, scrolls social media, or streams her favorite show, you guessed it, MAP is there helping improve reach and awareness wherever members are. But what about measurement? Well, Sam's Club membership model means virtually every transaction and impression are connected. So, even if Tina sees your CTV ad at home, drives to a club 3 states over, and purchases your item with a handful of nickels, MAP can still attribute the conversion. Whether you choose managed or self-service campaigns, the results speak for themselves. Want to make your item a member favorite? Join the club and advertise with Sam's Club MAP today.
So as you can see, obviously that introduces some of the elements. What this series was essentially Sam's taking what used to be a PowerPoint presentation and turning it into some more dynamic videos that really helped them tell a story that they needed to tell. This project really, when it came to us, was very open-ended as to what it could be creatively. So part of our job was developing that creative, coming up with ideas, writing them, figuring out what all it would entail. Would we shoot in studio? Would we animate this? Would we shoot in the store, et cetera, et cetera? So I want to start, maybe hand over to you, Jess, because you were pretty involved in a lot of the pre-pro elements. I know that obviously there's different people doing writing and stuff, but there was a lot of communication going on and trying to navigate to what we ended on. So why don't you talk to us just a little bit about just that creative development phase for this project?
Well, the RFP that we got essentially kind of mapped out a few inspirational videos that they liked. So we looked at that, and we found one that we really liked a lot, that you kind of vibed with, that I was like, that would be a lot of fun to produce and like, make our studio fun into. So we kept kind of looking at that video as the example to what that we were kind of wanting to do. I mean, the product and the company are different also, from the example, but that's kind of essentially what we wanted to do. So we went to Taylor and Caroline, the creative development team, and we were talking to them, kind of showing them what we wanted to do, what the RFP said that they wanted to do, and it would be in this blue world. And originally it was going to be all different colors, but then we were like, well, maybe it could just be a monochromatic blue world. And then we were just like, let's have a blue world, just one solid blue. So it'll be the Sam's Club blue. So they went into the white room, and I think it was for like 2 days, and just like hashed out the entire script. And it was super kind of theatrical, and we really wanted her to be kind of Kristen Chenoweth-esque. But I know that's very like loud. And so we were like, maybe we need to dial it back just a little, because this is a corporate video. So they did that, and we sent that to the client. And then there was a lot of back and forth about, okay, let's change this. We love this. Let's do this. So after that, we finally were set on a creative that we loved and that they loved. So then after that, we just took it and started running and started producing, and the blue world was a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon, why don't you pick it up there and talk a little bit about your involvement, and then kind of, where Jess left off of the things that needed to happen to get this shoot to occur.
Yeah. I mean, I think probably the biggest lift in the beginning was definitely finding like our lead talent. I mean, you guys went through a bunch of different, you started in headshots and kind of narrowed it down, and then auditions, and then more auditions, and more and more and more, until we finally kind of found our top few that led to finding our lead girl. And I know that was a super long process. And so while Jess was kind of doing that, I was working more or less just trying to figure out how we could capture everything we needed in basically 2 days, but it was really nights.
Yeah.
And so we would have access to the Sam's Club that was in Springdale, yes. From about 7 p.m. to 5 to 6 a.m. the next morning. So about 12-ish hours each night that we could get in there while they're restocking shelves, and that there's no customers, we're not interrupting people, and just do what we need to do. And we've obviously pulled all-nighters quite often, but this one was just on a much larger scale. So I remember we went down there. You guys had gone down there already before, taking scout pictures, and then we had to get kind of basically like an overhead map, a layout of what that store looked like, find all the different, because some of them was product specific, some of them was more just like general area, and then coming up with like, okay, we're going to move here and here, but then they're like, well, this department is being stocked at this hour. And so, we've got forklifts that are driving around the entire night that are just that beeping constantly going. And so you're just like, how can we maneuver around this space and get everything we need? And then, casting talent. Obviously, we brought in our lead talent, but then, it was a mixture of, do we want the backgrounds to be empty, or do we want them filled with people? And so kind of last minute decisions on like, no, we need background extra. So then casting random background extras from small agencies in Arkansas, just all the kind of caveats with that, booking hotels and travel, and, more or less just then everybody offsetting their schedule at least a day before. So when you show up at 6 p.m. and you're expected to then work for 12 hours, your body isn't like, why are you asking me to do this?
What are you doing?
Just some of the, the fun stuff that you get to do when you work in production.
Yes.
Yeah, it was, I feel like, considering the oddity of the schedule and working overnight and all those different factors. And I guess it was a pretty new store, but I felt like it was interesting that the store, in my opinion, which maybe they just like did an amazing job, but it looked like a freaking movie set.
Yeah,
like
it was great.
I mean, it was like everything was so put together perfectly, which was actually pretty amazing considering people have been shopping there all day.
Yeah,
right.
You know,
and I mean, everyone we went and scouted, I was like, no, this store just like, it wasn't like they just did that for us. It's like, no, I think that Sam's Club has their stuff together.
Yes,
like
yes.
everybody has their role and they know it and they execute it. I mean, really well.
Yeah, I mean, some of my perspective on that overnight shoot, it was interesting because we were shooting scenarios that would fit into these videos, and we were kind of moving all over the store, talent delivering lines to camera, and like you said, all these little extras queued up, and sometimes other actors, like we had the family actors.
The family.
And really, unless I'm forgetting something, I feel like we really went without any kind of snafus. Like, we hit the schedule. Yeah. We went to each location. We shot the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't finish a little early, but we
did. We did finished early every day, which was great because then it was like Monday night overnight to Tuesday, and then Tuesday night overnight to Wednesday, and then we had Wednesday off, and then we were in the studio Thursday, Friday to finish it out. So it was technically 5 days. Yeah. And then we kind of were like, if we can just get to the studio days, we can breathe easy. And I remember like driving home at like 5 a.m. We were just like, okay, we made it. Now we can just do the studio stuff. Right. Good. But the studio was a whole nother beast.
Oh yeah, whole nother animal. Well, let's talk about that one a little bit. And Jess, why don't you speak a little bit on behalf of Maddie? Maddie did an incredible job on this project.
Like always.
Yeah, tell us about the studio setup.
Maddie! So it started when the script was just still even being written. And so I took it to Maddie and I was like, hey, so what would you do? And she kind of went through and made her mind maps and kind of, really sat down and said, this prop will be painted this blue shade, like, because she had essentially the wall was one blue shade. And then she had another blue that the map team picked out, and then a lighter blue and a darker blue. So like an accent for things. So she had this entire list of all of these props that would be in this color and this color and this color. And it was really amazing to see her do that. And then she went through, I think, like 6 wardrobe selections just for the family's blue world look. And then I think 4 for the family's store looks. They're very particular because you're representing such a big brand that if the outfit isn't, perfect, we need to try again. And so I think Maddie loved it too, because she loves like looking at wardrobe and picking outfits for people. But we didn't know who our family was going to be until I think a week before we shot. And so that was another hurdle that Maddie had to kind of run over and run through. She had to get these clothes ordered on a certain day for them to be delivered. So, and then it was really fun to see Maddie's system once we got down there of like, once the white wall was painted blue, pulling all of that stuff onto the wall and the particular space that it needed to be. Like she had everything down to like the square footage or some, I don't know. Yeah. She had it down pat, which was really nice to see because that took a load off of our shoulders because sometimes we have to do all of that. Yeah. So, and just watch her, I don't know, love what she's doing was really, really awesome. And if we wouldn't have had her on this project, I think we would have died. Yeah. It was very, very art direction, wardrobe prop intensive.
Creating fake labels. Yes. Like essentially fake food brands that because if you're doing
having just bags printed.
Yes.
That look like they're frozen chicken nuggets and cookies and barbecue sauce.
Exactly. And renting a chicken suit so we could have a person dancing in a chicken suit outside the store. Like she just, I don't know, she does such an amazing job at that. But we'll have to show you Maddie's little designs for the chicken nuggets, barbecue sauce, and the chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
Show the assets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I there were some moments when we moved over to the studio day. Just talking a little bit about that shooting process. Obviously, Maddie was actively changing the sets over there, but she had constructed, built, painted everything ahead of time. And when it got time to shooting, you know, I know, for example, on this shoot, we shot on Zeiss primes, and I often was shooting 35, 50, or 85, which in our set, those are 1.4s, so they're very fast lenses. And there was a few moments in there, I remember we had just kind of mastered using the 42-inch OLED screen through the color grade of our small HD monitor. And I think I was on a 35 prime, and I had it all dialed, and talent was there. And it was crazy because I just remember thinking, I was like, this looks like it's animated. Yeah. Like that, it screwed with my head. And I walked over to the monitor and I was like, and then, you know, the beautiful giant razor sharp picture on that OLED 4K. And I was like, dude, that looks surreal. Like it looks animated. I mean, which is crazy because it was not animated. It was people in there with like props. Like, but the couch, like the gradients were so perfect, which I mean, a lot of that I contribute to the lighting, so I'll take some props there. But
pat yourself on the back.
But when the props are right and the art direction and the color scheme's right and the lighting's right and the camera works, like when all these things are right, like it just was pretty magnificent. Like I was super excited. I remember that was like when I was just like, oh, like this is good. This is a good thing. Some of the other elements, I guess maybe we can start going into post-production on this project. So this project obviously was production intensive, but then it was post-production intensive. We had 5-6 videos we were making and lots of visual effects, some really cool visual effects. I know both of you guys, obviously, probably Jess, I mean, you were communicating with Sam's more often. And Brandon, I can't remember, did you yourself get involved in any of the conversation in post-production? Were you looking at proofs or anything? I can't even remember. You might have moved on to another project.
I mean, I was watching from afar, but I can appreciate the amount. I mean, one thing, and I think we didn't really talk about it, but there was the storyboards and animatics that we had to do before we even did this. I mean, the edits, in theory, were already done.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, that was a lot of you and like Devin and Taylor, along with
and Chris
too.
Yes.
I mean, going in and like putting the wardrobe that we picked. That was the wardrobe that was on our person in the storyboard, in the animatic. And so, you know, when you do that, in theory, it allows you then to go to post and kind of translate that pretty easily. And, you know, there was a couple different iterations of almost every line too, because there's just, with a company that large, you could have some people that didn't get to see the final script and it wasn't necessarily approved by them. And so you kind of have to safety yourself by just capturing all this stuff. And so I knew when it got to post, we had done everything we possibly could to make it as simple as possible. But even then, at the end of the day, I mean, you're going in there and you're just realizing like, oh, we could do this different, or we could try this, or, you know, client just wants to adjust something. And I know it was a long process, but I mean, we had our whole team essentially at one point. I feel like I was watching proofs go up and I was like, man, everybody's commenting. Everybody's like, I'll take care of this. Yeah, this 3D, I'll do this. 2D, got this. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's a fun project even recent since then, like seeing like the little moment where what was it that disappeared? Was it the art easel?
Yes.
The easel goes, you know, and I think the television also went like,
the television's small because he's looking at a crappy television and
yeah, and I mean, those are simple little things, but they're just like little bits that add production value and make it fun to watch. And, you know, I think coming away from that project, definitely exciting to see what the team created, that we did such a large series. And, you know, obviously we're excited to do the next project for them. Yeah. So. Well, very cool. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us and listening to us chat a little bit about this really cool project that we worked on for Sam's Club. If you enjoyed hearing the behind the scenes of projects, feel free to check out some of our other episodes. We have over 40 episodes on our website, or you can find them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the different places. Retrospecfilms.com, I think, is the easiest. I think they're all on our YouTube as well.
Look at that.
They're everywhere. You can find them anywhere and everywhere. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us, and we will see you on the next episode. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.